Ask the universe for what you want. Ask the universe for this amazing, beautiful life that you want, instead of always sitting in this miserable energy of overthinking, of negative spirals, of all the worst case scenarios. I'm telling you, there is so much power in finally allowing yourself to set yourself free from these worst case scenarios and always manifesting that type of life into your reality, and instead really step into this different energy of allowing yourself to speak out loud the life that you want to live and how these next weeks and months are going to look for you. With that being said, hello, my sunshine, and welcome to a new episode of the Hot Girl Morning Podcast. I'm really excited and grateful to have you here, and I hope that you can excuse my stuffy nose and just the way my voice sounds right now. I'm getting over a really, really bad cold combined with allergies since it is spring, which is actually my favorite season, but that's the reason I'm talking like this. But today I just sat down and I had this feeling that I need to share this with you. And I know that there's sometimes these topics that I share with you over and over and over, but I'm going to tell them to you until you really, really live by them. And also in today's episode, I'm going to share with you a couple of instances where this truly changed how my life looked like. And I think it's so easy sometimes to live in this world and always thinking about, yeah, and this could happen, and what if this doesn't work out, and what if I never get that job, and what if, and I feel like through stepping into this energy of always kind of complaining and being in an energy of things that you don't want, you're attracting these things into your life. And I can speak out of my own experience, and I'm not saying that every single time, just by sitting down and telling yourself, okay, I want tomorrow $1 million on my bank account, it's just gonna immediately fly towards you, because manifestation in general, it is so much more complex than that. Manifestation is not only like about stepping into this different energy, into these different expectations about your life, but it is also like stepping into like action and doing something differently and living more according to your higher self. If you don't know me, my name is Greta. I'm an accountability and empowerment coach, and on this podcast we talk about all things personal growth, mindfulness, self-love, manifesting your dreams, and becoming the best version of yourself. So if any of these topics sound interesting to you, I would really, really appreciate it if you would give it 5 stars, or maybe send it to a friend who might need to hear this today. It really brings so much joy when we're able to kind of grow this community and just be able to support ourselves and inspire ourselves. And that's basically all I want to do. Let's just do a quick check-in. Hi, hello, how are you feeling? How are you doing? And as always, the goal with my episodes is that by the end you feel a little bit more inspired, a little bit more motivated and reconnected with yourself, because it's so easy to just jump from one thing to the next and always feel kind of disconnected from yourself and never really present. So that's what we're here to change. So I want you to take right now this moment to take a deep breath and know you're safe, you're loved, and you're protected. You're safe, you're loved, and you're protected. And I want you to listen to this episode today with an open heart, because I know sometimes when people give that type of advice where it's just like, yeah, just ask for what you want and then everything flows to you, it can feel really frustrating, especially if you have done stuff like this and it hasn't worked out. And it's just like, sometimes I know that these things can feel very flowy-dowy, but I really want you to focus today on like the energetic thing of what we're talking about. And in general, with everything I do, with every episode I create for you, I want you to not only take everything that I say, but also really think about it yourself. Okay, is this something that feels aligned with me right now in my life? Is this advice that I want to take on? And in general, this is what I want you to do when you watch any type of like, this is the perfect morning routine, this is the advice that you need to hear. Like, in general, take everything with a grain of salt and just do things out of like that connection towards yourself of wanting, okay, I know that I deserve more and I want more. So with all that being said, take another deep breath. Again, you are safe, you're loved, and you're protected. And I'm going to share with you a little bit of a story, because I think it is so true that on one hand, you're able to manifest the most beautiful things into your life, but you're also able to manifest not so good things into your life. And in this world, it's so easy to hear all about worries and just like, Are you sure that you want to do that? And are you sure that's going to work out? I'm unsure. Like, don't you want to like go to the safe route and do like this a little bit differently? And I feel like, especially maybe if you're also living in a smaller town of area, I think there's sometimes that thing even more. Maybe you live in a city or in a place where people are like very open-minded and love hearing big dreams and big goals. That's the type of energy that I have. But there are also people out there who tend to question a lot. And I think there is so much power into allowing yourself to say what you want. Because we're spending so much time kind of saying what we want, but kind of also not. It's kind of like, yeah, I kind of wish that I would have this life. I don't know, like this is so huge and I will probably never get there, but I would really like that. And when you hear that, what type of energy do you feel? It's like you kind of allow yourself to want to go there, but there is that resistance of, if you're honest with yourself, okay, you're not allowing yourself to really say it and to even believe in yourself. And that is one of the core things. If you do not believe that something is possible for you in your life, in most cases, it's not going to happen. And I'm telling you, there is so much power to sit down and to reflect about and think about, okay, what is it that I really want? And here are the ways that I found this most helpful, most powerful, most life-changing. Because one thing that I have learned for myself, if I want to like get into this manifestation energy of, okay, this is the life that I want to create for myself, this is how I want that future of mine to look like. For me, I find it personally so much harder if I look into the future, like 5 years into the future and 10 years into the future. And I'm saying, okay, these are all the things that I want, like in my further away future, if that makes sense. And I think what we need to switch is more look towards the next couple of months instead of like the next years or the end of your life. Like really look into the future. And I'm going to share with you now 3 instances in my life where asking the universe for what I want truly changed something. Like it truly changed something. Okay, are you ready? Instance number 1, last year when I was looking desperately for an apartment, I was really struggling. Back then I was still living as a digital nomad, and I am kind of getting to an end of that. But basically, I wanted to be like around in my home area and find something just for 3 months. And in general, it is really hard to get an apartment in my area. So it was really hard, and we have been looking for some time, and it was just like, I remember the way I was thinking about this. It's just so hard, and it's almost impossible to find something that we really like. And I got to this point where I stopped myself and I was like, okay, let's stop that. This is not helpful if I'm always saying out loud that this is so hard and it is not possible and there's nothing out there that is within like where we want to be and the budget and all these things. And I sat down and I had a conversation with my partner, and I was like, okay, if everything would work out perfectly, what is it that you would want? He said his things. He had asked the same question to me. Okay, if everything would work out perfectly, tell me about that apartment. What would it have? Where would it be? What is the budget? Like, what's it? Like, all about that. And we said it out loud. And I'm not going to lie to you, the next morning, we got a message on Facebook of someone having exactly that apartment. And we have written into like a couple of Facebook groups. And then this guy messaged us and was like, okay, I have an apartment for this amount of time and this and all these things. And I was just like, that's crazy. So that is instance number 1. Instance number 2 was just like a couple of months ago. So I was basically from, February to March, I was now living in Portugal. And I was getting to Portugal. I was like kind of thinking about, okay, I'm kind of scared about a couple of things, and this is getting to an end, and what do I want, and how can I make the best out of this? And I was just like a little bit scattered. Again, I took the time to sit down, and then I reflected about, okay, if these next 2 months would work out perfectly, if they would be like literally amazing, how would that time look like? So I sat down, I wrote down everything of how I wanted these days to look like, how I wanted my morning routine to be, how I wanted my work to be, how I wanted the people to like engage with things that I created. And I was writing all these things down. And now looking back at Portugal, all these things happened. Like literally, these things happened. It just happened. And here's now the biggest thing that I would say I manifested in my life. Maybe it was a combination of things. But the year I met my partner, I sat down and I asked myself a couple of journaling questions. I sat down and wrote about my ideal partner. I was always in that energy of, okay, I am not going to sit in that energy of, I want to have a partner and I want to have someone and I don't have him. And is it even out there because it's rough out there in the dating world and all these things. I was not like that. I was always like in that mindset, okay, I know. What if you would know the day where you would meet your soulmate? What if you would know the day you meet your person? Would you prefer to spend all that time until then kind of being like, oh, I wish I can find him and is it even blah, blah, blah? Or would you live your absolute best single life and be completely open for then to meet your true person? And that is kind of always the energy that I was trying to live in. And I was actually quite good at it. And basically, I was sitting down and I was journaling about my ideal partner. I wrote about how our days would look like, what traits does he have, what energy, what values, like all these different things. I wrote them down. And then I wrote in general, okay, if those things are not happening, like what are the non-negotiables that I'm not living without? Because I prefer to be a happy single than to be sad in a relationship. So I was writing all these things down. And I remember a couple of weeks after I went on vacation with some friends and I had a conversation with a friend and I told them, hey, I sat down and this is what I want and this is the type of relationship that I want and blah, blah, blah. And they were asking me, I am pretty sure that this doesn't exist. What are you going to do if this doesn't exist? Because your expectations are way too high, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I remember that energy that I felt where I was just like, I'm completely okay with being single. I love my single life. And if this a person doesn't exist, then I love to be single. I don't need a relationship. It is an add-on. It is something beautiful. And also one thing that I'm just remembering is after I wrote down like all the things that I want in my partner, I also asked myself, okay, in what ways am I maybe not aligned with that person that I want to manifest into my life? And I asked myself, okay, what are some things that I need to change about me and about my life and about my mindset to be able to attract that type of energy? Yeah. Not even a month later, I met my partner and we are now together for, 3.5 years, something like that. And I don't see that ever changing. So these are the instances in my life where it really, really changed of like asking for what I want. And these are also situations that happened into my life when I wanted to get like a side job or when I wanted to do a project. Oh yeah, there was like this retreat where I was like a photographer / content creator on. And I don't know, the way I approached it was just like, I felt this, like this is going to be my future. And instead of being like, oh, maybe they don't, And I know that not every single time, every single thing in your life will work out perfectly. But what I want to focus on right now is even figuring out what you want. And I think with asking the universe for what you want, it is really important that these dreams and these visions and these goals that you have are something that are really connected to yourself and to your soul. And that they are not led by the ego and wanting to seem a certain type of way in front of other people, or it often also doesn't feel like to me like a very materialistic type of energy. It is more like, okay, this is it. And then everything else will kind of fall into place. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to close your eyes if you're maybe right now just sitting at home and just listening to this. So if there's like a safe space, basically, like if you're driving a car, obviously drive the car with open eyes. I think that makes perfect sense and you will be smart enough to do that. But basically, if you have the option, I want you to close your eyes. And if not, I just want you to take a deep breath. And I want you to really honestly look right now into your future. Look into the year 2026. Look into the current month and the next month, maybe just, let's say, until the beginning of summer. Just look into these next couple of weeks and months and ask yourself, what do I want? How do I want these weeks to look like? How do I want these months to feel like? What are some things that I want to happen? What are some things that I'm craving? And what is the type of person that I want to show up as? And just allow yourself to let these thoughts come up, let these feelings come up without judging you. And this is not about having a perfect life, a life without any complications, a life without any challenges, because life is there. And it is part of that is about having challenges, going through challenges, growing through them, and healing through things. So it is not about the inexistence of challenges, but it is about finding a different way to handle them. So now, again, look into this future and truly ask yourself, okay, how do I want my next weeks and my months to look like? Ask yourself this again. How would I really want this to look like? How do I want this time to feel like? What are some things that I'm craving? How could these next weeks and months bring so much joy into your life and so much connection and gratitude? Again, this is not about the inexistence of challenges. And just allow yourself for all these things to come up. Is it maybe that you're feeling lonely and you're craving deep connections? Maybe also deep connection towards yourself, because sometimes when we're lonely, we're sometimes not deeply connected to ourselves. So are we craving this deep connection towards ourselves and towards other humans? Or maybe you want a different career path. You want to start your side hustle. You want to start your business. You want to get a raise. You want to have a conversation with your boss. You want to finally not have to worry about money anymore. You want to spend time outside. You want to feel fit and beautiful and strong. How do you want to feel? How do you want these weeks and days and months, and how do you want that to look like? Because 2026 is your year. 2026 is your year. 2026 is your year. It is the year where you're stepping into your own authentic energy. It is about the year where you're following your dreams. You're creating your dream life and you're making that decision. So again, ask the universe for what you want. And if it feels aligned, you can even take pen and paper, write down about how you want your next weeks to look like. Write it out. Maybe even if you want to put the cherry on top, create a vision board. Create a freaking vision board that makes you feel something. Really, really get internal. Okay, what is it that I want? And there is something so powerful to sit down in this soul purpose connected type of energy and to say to yourself, okay, this is the life that I want to live. This is the reality that I want to create for myself. I want to feel at peace. I want to feel grounded through this maybe time of chaos. I want to feel deep connections. I want to feel love. I want to feel all these things. And in general, this is a little side information. If you expect yourself to feel deep joy, deep gratitude, deep anything, you cannot only choose to only feel the deep, quote unquote, good emotions, the deep, quote unquote, positive emotions. People who feel the deepest type of joy and the deepest type of gratitude and fulfillment and all these different things are also the type of people who feel and allow themselves to feel the deepest type of sadness and grief and frustration and everything that is coming up. And I want you just to be aware of that. I want you to take another deep breath right now. Take a deep breath right now and know that you are capable of so much more. And there's a reason why all these things are coming up for you, why you're dreaming about this specific life of yours. And I don't want you to only sit down and think about it. And I think that is actually already such a key important part. But now since you have been thinking about, okay, this is the life that I want to create for myself. This is how I want it to feel like. This is how I want it to look like. This is going to be my spring this year. This is going to be my time until summer. I want you also to think about, okay, how can I make that my reality? Is there something that I need to change in my life? Am I craving friendships? Then go out there. Talk to a stranger. Maybe you see a stranger reading a book and you find their energy fascinating. You can go up to them and have a conversation. I feel like we're sometimes so deep into our phones that we forget human connection. So again, not only think about the life that you want your next weeks basically to look like, or your next months. Also think about, okay, how can I make that my reality? In what ways am I currently in my own way? Is it maybe that I'm dreaming about this beautiful, really relaxing morning, but what I do every morning is I wake up with this anxious type of energy. First thing that I do is I scroll on my phone and then I'm just rushing towards like getting ready and I'm jumping out of the door. How do you expect that type of morning routine to feel relaxing to you? Because, spoiler alert, that's going to be pretty hard. So make your life a little bit easier and also ask yourself, okay, how can I change my environment and to something that supports me to the life that I want to be creating? And just allow yourself to sit down and write about it. Sit down and write about it and make changes in your life because you are so freaking capable. And if you're just like, I have been trying this for so long and I know like there's something within me where I know I'm meant for more. I know I'm meant for better life. But I'm struggling with it. Like I'm struggling to stay consistent with it. I'm struggling to really show up and figure out what I even want. If that is you, you can see me as like the magic witch that is in your way towards your dream life, because I do this as my profession. I love coaching and this is what I do. And I have basically two different offers. One goes more towards accountability, aka I'm helping you stay consistent. We have short weekly calls and I help you kind of figure out, okay, how can I stay aligned to like exactly what I want and to the vision that I want to create for myself. And the other thing is like the truly transformational coaching program that I have that will help you really honestly in 90 days to change your life. I guarantee you, working with me will help you get to that vision that you have. And I have this beautiful combination that we do where we do the inner work, where we figure out, okay, what is it that you really want? Where we figure out the steps, because sometimes it's so hard to even know where to get started and to figure out, okay, what is even the big goal? Because we're sometimes too like surface level. We need to get deeper. So this is what I do, and we combine it with the accountability, with holding you accountable, and with supporting and empowering you, because it is so powerful when you don't have to do this all by yourself. If you're interested in that, I have a link down below in the show notes, and you can book there a free 30-minute call with me. You just click on there, book the time that you want to have a call. You will get an email with a link. You click on there, and then we'll have a 30-minute Zoom call, and I would be so excited to do that. And if you're just like, okay, I'm not sure, I need more information, then message me on Instagram at greta.webhofer, greta.webhofer. I would love to support you. And with all that being said, please ask the universe for what you want. And thank you so much for listening to me. I will talk to you very, very soon. Bye.